Okay, as we can see in this example, all the code is in the main program, and that's really not how we um, write our code. So we're going to have to talk about how to pass arrays as parameters to functions. All right. This is probably the hardest part here, the input file stuff. So I'm going to look at a simple example. Let's say I was to take all of this code here, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the array and I'm going to take the variable called office, and I'm going to pass those to a function so that I can then calculate the total sales and the average sales. And I'm going to display that information down here, so I'm going to have to actually take this. Well, I'll just do the total sales first. So let's say I want to take this code out and I want to put it in a function. We'll call it calculate total sales. All right. So what I need to bring to this function is my array, right? And when you pass an array as a parameter, let's just come up here and take a look at this. It's an array of doubles called sales, and that's how many elements are in it. So that's how you pass the array. You don't have to put a size in here. The function will figure out how many it is. Now remember, like if you have, that's a double, an array of doubles, okay? So we need to bring that in. We need to bring in office. Office remember, it holds how many offices we have sales for. We need to know that because it's in our for loop. And we're going to have to return back out the total sales. So I could make this a value returning function, or I'm just going to make it a reference parameter here, so I can send it back to the main program. Okay. I'm also going to have to um, declare index to be an integer because I'm missing that declaration from main. And that can just be declared right here inside the function. So it's really easy to pass arrays as parameters. You just pass the data type, the name of the array, and the square brackets. It's important to note that arrays are automatically reference parameters. You don't have control over that. So in this case, early on, we're not going to really talk about value or reference. We're just going to pass the array, and they are automatically reference parameters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to paste it up here, put a semicolon, and let's see, right here is where I took that code from, so I'm going to call the function calculate total sales. I'm going to pass it the array, I'm going to pass it office, which counts how many elements are in it, and I'm going to return total sales. Okay. If I want to calculate the average sales now, I don't have to pass the array, but I can put that in a function as well. All right. So I'm just probably I'll do this as a value returning function because it's just going to return the average sales. And what I need to pass into here is my total sales and office. So every time you're processing an array, you want to think about the fact that here you need to pass in the array, or if you need to know how many elements are actually stored in it. Okay, the return type of this function will be a double, and then I'm going to return average sales. Okay. All right, I need to put my prototype in. And I need to call the function. All right, and then I'll take this last part out. This actually, we need the array for this. And I'll calculate the highest and lowest. So I'll put that in a function. I'll just call this calculate high-low. Okay. So in here, I need to have the array itself. And I need office, because again, that tells me how many how many things I have in the array, so I can use that in my loop. And this is going to calculate the highest and the lowest sales. So I'm going to return those back out as reference parameters so I can use them back in main. And lastly, I just have to make sure index is declared. Okay, so I need a prototype for this function. And then I need to I need to call the function right here. So I pass it the name of the array, office, which holds how many elements are in the array, highest sales, and lowest sales. Okay, so passing arrays to functions is really relatively easy, right? Just like any other variables, but you're going to have the square brackets here. That means you're passing the entire array. And the one thing that's different from other variables is the fact that they're automatically reference parameters. Now, obviously, you want to put this in a display function, but I'm just going to run this and see if it works, and I'll leave that for you to try. Okay, so here's my total sales average, highest and lowest.